This is the Benchwarmers Trivia Podcast. We have assembled the world's finest sports and trivia dorks to prove once and for all that we are just as bad at this as we were at sports.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Benchwarmers Trivia Podcast. Sports trivia for those of us who rode the pine. You are listening to episode 253. I'm your host, Josh Bombach, and today's game will be an all-Benchwarmers affair, pitting Eric Eade and Marcus Ellis versus Scott Grimes and Matt Takimoto. Let's start with Eric and Marcus. Please let us know how you're doing and what your team name is.
I am doing not the best because I had an emergency dental appointment on Friday. Super fun, so I've just been pilled up in my house, wishing that maybe I would go lay in traffic. But, I mean, other than that, just great. It's almost draft time, so dating this podcast now. And I'm excited for that. So looking forward to Thursday night. Find out the futures of all the NFL teams, and everybody's going to be Hall of Famers, I'm sure.
So does the podcast consent for Marcus dating us? Just wanted to put that out there.
He can date me anytime.
I always ask for consent when I date people.
All right. Anyway, Eric, how about you?
I'm older. I lived in a time we didn't have to ask.
Wow.
Anyway, I'm fine. I'm no sleep, so I'm also not responsible for any words that leave my mouth. I haven't slept since probably 2 days ago. I also had an emergency situation for my son, so that was a different thing. So we were in the ER since 1 a.m. and now I'm here. And to date this podcast even more, we record late at night, so this is now going on probably 48 hours of no sleep. So yay. But anyway, so Marcus and I are teaming together, and Marcus, spoiler alert, we both love South Park. So anytime we team together, I feel like we have to have a South Park themed team name. So our team name today is I've got a raging clue.
I've got a raging clue right now.
Right. And Scott and Matt, let us know how you guys are doing and what your team name is.
I am good. I had an equally important emergency where I had somebody who was going to lose money on a wine tasting reservation if I didn't go and drink wine. So, medical emergencies, dental emergencies, wine emergencies. It's all the same thing, really.
Way to take one for the team.
What a hero.
I really just sacrificing for the good of the order here. But yeah, I'm good.
There goes my hero.
Hey, not all heroes wear capes. Some drink wine.
Most drink wine.
Scott.
Josh, why do I get the feeling that by the end of this podcast, it might be just the two of us? Marcus is going to go lay in traffic. Eade said he might fall asleep. Matt might just, be hungover. I don't know. I feel like it might just be the two of us. That's the way for Taco and I to get our first win. Was that everyone else just falls asleep, and we'll see what happens. But I'm good. Also to, I guess, sort of date this podcast, but by the time you're listening to this, I will be able to confirm whether or not I am facing off against Johnny Manziel in a softball league. I just joined a new league, and they put up all the rosters for the teams, and I signed up as a free agent. So I'm looking through the team rosters, and I'm like, you try to get a sense of, who looks like they might be good. You have to put up a little picture and everything, and state your experience in playing. And I'm looking through one of the teams, and I'm seeing a couple names that I recognize, including Josie Canseco, Jose's daughter. And I scroll down a little bit more, and it says Johnny Manziel. And I'm like, all right, well, there aren't too many Johnny Manziels out there that are based out of Los Angeles who are, golfers and football players and would conceivably play in a meaningless softball league. So I can't confirm it till he's in front of me. But I'm in the league. I got assigned to a team, and their team's on the schedule. So by the time this drops, you can ask me whether or not I caught one of Johnny Manziel's fly balls, and I hope that the answer is yes.
How much blow is in that league?
I don't know yet. Again,
All
you
right.
can also ask me by the time this drops.
All right.
I'll be able to confirm how much cocaine is in this league. Hopefully a lot, because I think that'll fare well for my team. But we'll see. My team tonight, though, has a name. Taco and I are the two California boys on this podcast. And so because all we ever want to do is teach people how to Dougie, we decided that we'll be Cali Swag District.
All right, so I've got a Raging Clue versus Cali Swag District. So let's kick it over to our emeritus benchwarmer Dan Lundberg for the rules.
The game will consist of 4 quarters of play, each with different trivia style. The styles of quarters 1 through 3 will change from show to show, and I will explain them as we go along. Like any good sporting event, we will have a halftime show after the second quarter with entertainment questions. And in the fourth quarter, our teams will wager from their points accumulated to see who are today's clipboard captains, to be honored like the true benchwarmers they are. All right, let's get this game underway.
Thanks, Dan. Today's first quarter will be sporting haikus.
Sporting haikus. For this quarter, there will be 4 questions in haiku form. Each question is worth 25 points.
Haiku number 1. Tennessee Titan. 3 runs of 89 plus, 09 OPY.
We'll check in.
All right, Cali Swag District has checked in, so I've got a Raging Clue. You guys can talk it out.
3 runs of 89.
You're right.
89 plus. Okay, I was just making sure. Well, the other thing is I couldn't remember the timing of Vince Young. Wasn't Vince Young 07?
Yes. No, he was never OPY though. That's offensive player of the year, not rookie.
Oh, not
rookie.
Yeah, because he was offensive rookie of the year. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
so I think we've settled on Chris Johnson.
You got it.
Okay, we're gonna check in with Chris Johnson.
All right, in Cali Swag District, what did you guys have?
Well, as Cali Swag District, of course, our first thought was UFC legend Lendale White, but we decided to check in with the man they called CJ2K, Chris Johnson.
All right, both teams are getting points. Correct answer is Chris Johnson. Johnson's rushes were 94, 91, and 89. The only other player with 3 rushes of at least 88 yards is Bo Jackson, who went 92, 91, and 88. And only 5 players in NFL history have 2 rushes of at least 90 yards. And that includes Amon Green, Derrick Henry, and Lamar Miller.
Lamar Miller.
Wow.
His were both 97s.
Yeah, yes, they were.
All right, let's move on to haiku number 2. 4-13-16 had 50 field goal attempts. He scored 60 points.
We'll check in.
Oh, you nerds.
Cali Swag District has checked in, so I've got a Raging Clue. You guys can talk it out.
Yeah, that's he dropped 60 against the Jazz in his last game.
Right, and he shot everything. Like they were just feeding him the ball, and
It was his
and he obliged. He said, because I don't think Kobe ever met a shot he didn't like. So we will check in with Kobe Bryant.
Okay, in Cali Swag District, what did you guys have?
Yep, same thing. Definitely had 60 in his final game, and I don't remember exactly how many field goal attempts he had, but 50 sounds reasonable. When can 50 field goal attempts ever sound reasonable in Kobe's last game? So we also checked in with Kobe Bryant.
All right, both teams are getting their points. Correct answer is Kobe Bryant, and yes, it was his last game in the NBA. He went 22 for 50, including 6 for 21 from 3.
Yeah.
Yeesh.
Yeah.
Why we're acting like that's a big deal, like he didn't shoot that many shots all the time. Wait, what?
And since 1983, when the stat was officially tracked, Michael Jordan is the only other player with at least 49 field goal attempts. And in that game, he scored 64.
Yeah. Hey, you got to put up shots to score points.
That is true.
I don't see the problem.
And sometimes you have to hoist up 21 threes to make 6.
Yeah. Well, okay, which one is more useless? Kobe Bryant's last game 60 or Devin Booker's 60 he scored when the Suns were really, really bad and they got blown out by like 30 and they like carried him off the court? That's my... And since that day, no, Devin Booker, not for me. No, thank you.
All right. Moving on to haiku number 3. First overall pick, 7 times on base, no hits. 2-time MVP.
Josh, we will check in.
All right, Kelly Swig District is checked in again. I've got a raging clue. You guys can talk it out.
I don't have a raging clue on this one.
No. So I'm translating that into no hits for his career, right? So if he's been on
Sure.
base 7 times, it means it's a pitcher.
Okay.
And that would be probably an AL pitcher.
Okay. Yeah, I'm with you.
So AL pitchers to win MVP. Verlander.
I was gonna say Verlander, but was he the number one pick?
I don't know.
I don't know either, but yeah, he's definitely won MVP. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. And he's spent all of his time in the American League.
Trying to think any other pitchers that won MVP that I can think of off the top of my head. Roger Clemens. Was he first?
I don't know. That's the problem. I just don't know.
Probably not.
The MLB draft for me is like a black hole. Just go with your gut. Your gut is usually right.
I don't. No, it's not a gut. It's just I'm just naming pitchers that I know have won an MVP. I'm sure there's others that I can't think of. So it's Kershaw, Verlander, Ohtani, but he's been on base more than so. Yeah, whatever. Let's just kill it. Verlander.
Yeah, and Kelly Swig District, what'd you guys have?
We went in a different direction with that interpretation of the haiku. We thought this might be a first overall pick and a 2-time MVP who once had a game where they got on base 7 times with no hits. So one guy jumped to mind that fits the other 2 criteria and does like to walk and get on base a lot. So we checked in with Bryce Harper.
One team will be getting points. This is a single game record. The correct answer is Bryce Harper. Harper was walked 6 times and was hit by a pitch once during a 13-inning game on May 8th, 2016. All right, haiku number 4. I expect Eid to check in immediately without even conferring with his teammate, possibly. Hockey, HOF. 19 shots on goal, 1 game. Bruin Av defense.
Just do it. I don't need you to type anything.
All right, we'll check in.
All right. For the first time today, I've got a Raging Clue has checked in first. So Kelly Swig District, you guys can talk it out.
Bruins is doing most of the heavy lifting, but I kind of assume this is Ray Bourque. Pretty sure those are the only 2 teams he played with and was, I think, the most prolific scoring defenseman in hockey history. So,
Yeah, he comes up a lot. He's always on those lists for like defensemen that scored a lot. So I'm great with it. Yep. And I know he was a Bruin, and I think I do remember from at some point on this podcast hearing that he also played for Colorado. So works for me.
okay, we'll check in with Ray Bourque.
Yeah, and I've got a Raging Clue. Eric?
Yeah, it's Colorado Avalanche legend Ray Bourque.
Both teams will be getting their points. The correct answer is Ray Bourque. This occurred on March 2nd, 1991 in a 3-3 tie game against the Nordiques. Bourque scored 1 goal and had 1 assist, so he was 1 for 19. But he also holds the record for most career shots on goal and most career playoff shots on goal. So he was a defenseman who liked to shoot the puck. All right, after the first quarter, we have the following scores. I've got a Raging Clue has 75, and Kelly Swig District has 100. This might be kind of good news for I've got a Raging Clue because today's second quarter will be Lucky 7, the big and tall edition.
Lucky 7. For this quarter, there will be 3 lists containing 7 items. The team that is trailing coming into the quarter will choose the first list and attempt to identify the items on this list one at a time. If the team has an incorrect guess, the other team can attempt to finish that list out. The team leading at the beginning of the quarter will select the second list, and whichever team is trailing after the first 2 lists will get the third list. Each item is worth 10 points.
Oh, we're going shopping at like Sears, huh?
So the 3 lists that you have to choose from. List 1, the heaviest players to play in at least 30 games in NFL history. List 2, the tallest players to play in at least 200 games in NBA history. And list 3, the tallest players to play in at least 100 games in WNBA history.
I do enjoy that they have to have played a minimum amount of games.
Because if I didn't do that, there would have been whole lots of who's and whatnot.
Right,
Takes out a lot of people.
I mean, there still might
like-
be some of those, but, at least less.
I mean, Eric, do we need to talk about this?
I want list 1, so I don't know what you want.
Yeah. What are we talking about?
Oh, all right.
All right, so you guys are going with list 1?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
All right, so why don't you take a few minutes and put together your list for the heaviest players to play in at least 30 games in the NFL.
All right, we're going to check in.
All right, I've got Raging Clues checked in, and they are going to start listing off who they believe are the heaviest players to play in at least 30 NFL games. So whenever you're ready, you can start listing your players.
I'm going to go with the one I think is probably number 1. And I'm going to say Aaron Gibson.
Playing in 38 games, weighing in at 410 pounds, Aaron Gibson is number 1.
I think we go here next.
Yeah.
All right. Nate Newton.
Playing in 198 games, weighing in at 401 pounds, Nate Newton is number 2 on the list.
All right. Let's go with the fridge.
Playing 138 games, weighing in at 382 pounds, William the Refrigerator Perry is number 5 on the list.
Let's do Trent Brown here.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah.
Trent Brown. Yeah.
There it is.
Playing 100 games, weighing 380 pounds, Trent Brown is number 6 on the list.
So how many do we have left?
There are 3 names left on this list. You have 1, 2, 5, and 6 you have identified.
All right,
Okay.
we gotta go Ted here.
Yeah, we have to.
Ted Washington.
Playing 236 games, weighing 375 pounds, Ted Washington is number 7 on the list.
Ooh. What was the weight on that?
375.
Ooh. Okay.
Oh, no. All right. We're gonna Bryant McKinney.
Playing 179 games, weighing 386 pounds, Bryant McKinney is number 3 on the list.
Oh my goodness.
Got one spot left. I don't know. Let's go Terrence Cody. That's all I got.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
All right, Terrence Cody.
Playing I don't know how many games, weighing I don't know how much, he is not on the list.
Really? He was enormous.
He was a big man.
I have the guys who weighed more but didn't meet the games, and I have the guys who are the next 3 on the list, and he didn't qualify there. So,
Okay.
That's fair.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah. No, I'm not.
Yeah.
So you guys successfully named 6 of the 7 heaviest players to play at least 30 NFL games. So there's 1 name left for Kelly Swag District to try and identify.
To say that I was paying attention while they were giving their names would be an understatement because
I assume they would just go 7 for 7.
That's-
All right.
Do you want me
also what
just
I
to do a
assumed.
quick recap for you guys?
Yes, please.
Please.
All right. Number 1, Aaron Gibson, 410 pounds. Number 2, Nate Newton, 401 pounds. Number 3, Bryant McKinney, 386 pounds. Number 5, William the Refrigerator Perry, 382 pounds. Number 6, Trent Brown, 380 pounds. And number 7, Ted Washington, 375 pounds.
Okay. So we need someone that was like 384 pounds.
I've got less than nothing.
It's not Vince Wilfork, because if it was, that would have been the first one that you'd answered. So we can eliminate Vince Wilfork. I'm assuming it's some sort of giant nose tackle. Like Sam Adams was a pretty big guy, but I don't know. I think they would have gotten Sam Adams. I don't even know where to go on this. Maybe we throw out a last name and
Sure.
hope that it's like Williams.
I like Williams. There's lots of Williamses.
There
Let's
are
do it.
lots of Williamses. All right, we're gonna check in with Williams.
That is incorrect, so you will not be receiving any points. Number 4 on this list has only played in 32 games so far, but he is a Golden Gopher legend from New Zealand, I think, or Australia, one of the two.
Yeah.
This
yeah.
would be Daniel Falalele, who weighs in at 384 pounds. And I think he actually lost some weight before he got to the pros because I think he was playing 400 plus when he was at the University of Minnesota.
Yeah, see, that's my fault, Eric. I started typing his name out and then we were coming up with other names and I deleted it again because I knew when he was at Minnesota, they said he was at 400 pounds. And then I think like at the combine, he got to like 370, I think I want to say. So yeah, it's reasonable to, I also didn't think maybe he hadn't played enough games. So
Sure.
I should have at least.
It was very close to being off the list. So,
Correct. So just to let you know, number 8 on the list is Jordan Mailata, 365. He's played 62 games. Number 9, Mekhi Becton, 364 pounds, has played in 31 games. And number 10, Orlando Brown Jr., 363 pounds, 98 games. There are 4 individuals one who absolutely would have been on the list had he played any games. I don't know if it's Terrell Brown, weighed in at 403 pounds, did not play a game. Michael Jasper, who I think in college I think he was like 450 pounds in college. He dropped down to 375, but did not play a game in the NFL. And then you also have Caleb Jones, who's 370 pounds. He was a rookie last year, I think, and he's played in 1 game. And then we have a guy who I think went to to join professional wrestling after his career, and that's TJ Barnes, 364 pounds, but only played 21 games. So those are some of the big boys.
There's no bonus points for me guessing the exact weight at 384, right?
No, but that was, I mean, you only had three possible numbers it could have been, and you picked the middle one. So that's, Cali Swag District, do you guys have the list you guys would like to attempt?
Yeah, we're going to go with the tallest NBA players with 200 games played.
Damn it.
All right. Well, why don't you take a few minutes, get your list together, and then let me know when you're ready to go.
We will check in.
All right. Cali Swag District has checked in, and they are going to start naming the players that they believe are the tallest players to play in at least 200 NBA games. So whenever you're ready, start listing the names.
Okay, we will begin our sojourn with Yao Ming.
Playing in 481 games, he's 7'6". He is tied for 3rd on the list, Yao Ming.
That actually makes me feel better about some down list folks that we weren't sure if they had enough games. Next, we'll go Sean Bradley.
Playing in 832 games, also 7'6" and tied for 3rd on the list, Sean Bradley.
After that, let's go Manute Bol.
Playing in 625 games, he's 7'7". He's tied for 1st. That is Manute Bol.
Okay. This is one of the ones we might be worried about games, but I feel pretty good about it. Boban Marjanovic.
Sorry, just to let you know, there are 4 people tied for 5th. You can identify 3 of them. One of them, who has played 331 games and is 7'4", is Boban Marjanovic.
Okay. Next, I'm hoping that Manute Bol is tied for 1st with this guy. My giant himself, George Mirasan.
Playing in 307 games, he is 7'7", tied for 1st, George Mirasan.
Okay. Next, let's go with Mark Eaton.
He played 875 games. He is 7'4" and tied for 5th on the list. It is Mark Eaton.
Okay. Well, then it comes down to our last one because we eliminated some folks and weren't sure about some others. So we're going to take a shot with Dikembe Mutombo.
Dikembe Mutombo is not tall enough.
For this, not for life. Yeah.
So he is
life.
So
not for life.
He is not tied for 5th, and he is not tied for 9th. So my guess is he's probably 7'2".
He cannot ride
Yeah, I
this
think
roller
he is
coaster.
7'2".
All right, can you recap that list for us?
Yep,
sir?
give me a second here. I gotta move a cat.
Story
gotta
of my
move
life.
a cat.
That's a
right.
reasonable
Not-
thing to do.
That's not jargon, guys. He's actually
I actually
moving
moved a
for the
cat.
listeners.
She was in the way of my screen here. So
Carl Anthony Towns came to Josh's house after the victory.
Josh had to carefully move him out of the way.
yes. All right. Two players tied for first. That's Manute Bol and George Mirasan at 7'7". Two players tied for third. Sean Bradley and Yao Ming are 7'6", and two of the 4 7'4" players tied for fifth are Mark Eaton and Boban Marjanovic. So you need to identify one of the two who are also 7'4".
Okay.
That's what we're looking for.
All right, so I think that's easy enough. Marcus, it's Rick Smits was 7'4". I know that.
Yeah, I fully agree. Yes.
Yeah. All right, we're gonna go with Rick Smits.
All right. Playing in 867 games. He is 7'4", and his name is Rick Smits. So good job, guys. Does anyone have a guess at who the last remaining 7'4" player is?
My guess would be what's his name? Ralph Sampson.
Ralph Sampson played in 456 games and is also 7'4". So you guys ended up together running the list. Tied for ninth, there are 4 7'3" guys who played in at least 200 games. They are Zydrunas Ilgauskas, Randy Brewer, Arvydas Sabonis, and Hashim Thabit. And we
Oh,
had
he did make the list. Wow. I threw him out. I threw him out, and Scott's like, "There's no way he got that many
he
games."
played
Listen.
224 games. So
Wait.
Wow, good for him.
Define played.
Yeah,
he checked in and
Okay.
and
Okay.
He was
so-
legally on the court.
yes.
All right.
He
Minutes.
was legally on
So,
the court.
How many minutes?
There are a number of other people who were 7'4" or taller who just did not have enough games. And
Taco.
Taco Fall.
Taco Fall, he only
We
played
had
in
him.
37 games. Chuck Nevitt, I think from the
Ooh,
1980s.
Yes.
Zhang Zizi.
7'5".
I thought
Um,
Wang Zizi, yeah.
Yeah, Wang
Pavel
Zizi.
Podkolzin, 7'5", played
yes!
in 6
Pavel
games.
Podkolzin.
Sim Bular,
Oh,
Yeah,
Sim
Sim
Bowler,
Bowler.
Yes.
played
New
in
Mexico
3
State.
3
Great
games.
Who's that guy from there?
Hold
I was
on.
just gonna say there's a guy from Montenegro. I know that.
Is that Slavko Vranes?
Yes.
Vranes, 7'5". He played in 1 NBA game. 7'4", we have Priest Lauderdale. He played in
Priest Lauderdale. I
74
forgot
games.
I forgot he's that tall.
And of course, we do have currently Victor Wembanyama is 7'4", but he's only played in 71 games so far. He would be on this list. So if you're listening to this after, like in 2026 or beyond, Victor Wembanyama would be on the list. But when this was recorded in 2024, he did not play enough games yet. So for those of you who are listening in the future. So I've got a raging clue. You guys still have less points than Cali Swag District. So you'll be the first to try and identify as many of the tallest players to play in at least 100 WNBA games. So, I mean, Eric, you have claimed that this is the year where, you are a supporter of women. So now let's see you prove it.
Where's Cheryl Swoops on the list? I don't know.
And so just to let you know, this one has a similar thing. There are 3 players tied for 6th, so you can identify 2 of them.
We're going to check in, Josh.
All right, I've got a raging clue is checked in, and they are going to try to identify as many as they can of the tallest players to play in at least 100 games in the WNBA.
We'll check in Margot Didek.
Playing in 323 games, she's as tall as Dikembe Mutombo, 7'2". That is Margot Didek, number 1 on the list.
I would hope she's number 1.
Dikembe Mutombo, tallest player in WNBA history. Got it.
Tied.
Still not tall enough, even in the WNBA. All right, got it.
Okay, and then we'll go with Brittany Griner.
Having played 285 games, she's 6'9". She's number 2 on the list, Brittany Griner.
Oh, interesting. Okay. Then we will go with Liz Cambage.
Playing in 167 games, she's 6'8" and tied for third. Liz Cambage.
I think I need glasses because when you typed that in the chat, I thought you typed cabbage. All right.
She's Cabbage.
Liz Cabbage.
All right. Should we go with yours then next? Your
Sure.
Okay. We'll go with Sylvia Fowles.
Playing in 408 games, she's 6'6" and tied for ninth on the list.
Oh,
Damn it.
So unfortunately, she's not quite tall enough.
I was excited.
Me too. I
had a raging clue.
Great fake out there, Josh. That was good.
All right. So they identified first Margot Dydek, second Brittany Griner, and tied for third Liz Cambage. There are still there's 5 possible people to name, 4 of which can get you points. And just to recap, we had 7'2", 6'9", 6'8", and then 6'6" was not tall enough. So
you're looking for like a.
So we need 6'6.5" and up. This is a 384 situation again. I guessed it on the nose.
Right. So that kind of makes me like I put in the chat. I know because I casually follow the Dallas Wings because Satu Sabali is my love.
That's also a great choice.
I know that Tierra McCowan is 6'7".
So I mean, if you know that, then we got to do that one.
Okay, so let's be on there. We'll go Tierra McCowan.
Having played in 151 games, she is indeed 6'7". Tierra McCowan is tied for 6th.
So it brings up the question of how tall is Rebecca Lobo?
And then
I would assume not tall enough because I think they would have named her if she
right. Trying to think of who else. I don't think Lisa Leslie is 6'7".
No, she might be 6'6.5".
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Again, that's one that would be on there. How tall was Tina Thompson?
Oh, that's another one that I would love to know, but don't. I don't know that she's not 6'7". Okay, I like it. It's better than anything else we've got. So,
yeah. All right, Josh, we're gonna check in with Tina Thompson.
Tina Thompson is nowhere near this list. She is only 6'2".
Really?
Only 6'2".
And Rebecca Lobo also not near this list, 6'4". So 2 other players, 6'8", playing 158 games. Katie Matera, and playing in 114 games, Maria Stepanova. And then the 2 others tied for 6th are playing in 121 games, 6'7", Imani McGee Stafford.
Oh, JaVale's sister.
And 116 games, also 6'7", Allison Bales. You guys got one on that one. So
I owe you a little bit of money on some of those names, Josh, but we can talk about that up there.
This was usually it's good to have one of the lists where it might be a little tougher to get them all. So
of course, it's fine. Next time we'll take the baseball list.
I'm not going to go through the whole list of 6'7" and up who didn't have enough games because I don't want to try to pronounce all these names. But Lauren Jackson, 6'6", so she is tied for 9th as well with a bunch of other tall ladies. So, all right. Well, after the second quarter, we have the following scores. We have a lead change. I've got a Raging Clue is up to 175, and Cali Swag District's at 170. So it is anybody's game. And that brings us to halftime.
It is now time for the halftime show. There will be 3 entertainment questions. Each question is worth 25 points.
It is time for another edition of ChatGPT pre- and post-game with a little bit of a twist. I asked ChatGPT to make up plots for movies based on the combination of 2 movies and or television shows, with at least one being about sports. So they could be 2 movies, they could be 2 television shows, they could be one of each. So before they were always movies, I'm branching out. Plot number 1. The story revolves around young Martha, an aspiring soccer player who dreams of joining her school's boys soccer team. Inspired by her admiration for Margaret Thatcher, Martha decides to disguise herself as a boy and join the team. As Martha navigates the challenges of hiding her true identity while honing her skills on the field, she becomes an unexpected source of inspiration and leadership for her teammates. With a perfect blend of humor, empowerment, and girl power, this film challenges stereotypes, celebrates inclusivity, and showcases the indomitable spirit of a young girl determined to break barriers and follow her passion.
We're checked in.
Cali Swag District has checked in, so I've got a raging clue. You guys can talk it out.
I mean, it's Ladybugs, and Margaret Thatcher was the Iron Lady, so I have no idea if it's whatever. So I think we just go with that, unless you got something better.
So in Ladybugs, a girl dresses up to play on the boys' team?
No, I think they flipped that around because it's a girl or a boy that dresses up and plays on the girls' team.
Ah. Okay.
You've never seen Ladybugs?
No.
No? All right. We're going to check in with the Iron Ladybugs.
Okay, and Cali Swag District, what did you guys have?
Yeah, it's Rodney Dangerfield's best work. I don't care what anyone says. His best work. I absolutely love and adore the movie Ladybugs and watched it like 100 times growing up. We also checked in with the Iron Ladybugs.
Both teams will be getting their points. The correct answer is the Iron Ladybugs. You're correct that ChatGPT did flip it around, but it still had the premise of what it was for you guys to hone in on. So, and the Benchwarmers Trivia Podcast does not endorse Scott Grimes's beliefs on best Rodney Dangerfield movies because the best by far is Back to School. All right, well, let's move on to plot number 2. Set in the 1980s, a group of young, aspiring filmmakers unwittingly captures evidence of an alien presence during a Major League Baseball game. As they investigate further, they uncover a conspiracy surrounding the game and discover that a group of players have been implicated in a match-fixing scandal. With the help of their newfound extraterrestrial allies, the young filmmakers embark on a mission to expose the truth and save the integrity of the sport they love. It's an exciting blend of mystery, adventure, and coming of age where friendship, loyalty, and the pursuit of justice take center stage in a world where both earthly and otherworldly forces collide.
We'll check in.
Cali Swag District has checked in. I've got a raging clue. You guys can talk it out.
I was thinking of match fixing. Made me think of 8 Men Out, which was the Black Sox movie.
Oh, so Super
8 Men Out is what I was thinking.
Because when I typed Cloverfield of Dreams, I'm like, why would Josh write a Field of Dreams question? So yeah, no, I like yours better now. So.
But I like thinking about Kevin Costner in a found footage. He's in the cornfield. It's just him running around,
giving everybody in the theater motion sickness. Yeah.
Yes.
Cool.
Okay. So we'll check in with Super 8 Men Out.
All right, and Cali Swag District, what do you guys have?
Same thing. I genuinely hope Cloverfield of Dreams is the third question in this halftime. But yeah, we also checked in with Super 8 Men Out.
Well, teams are getting points. The correct answer is Super 8 Men Out, and that's a really good one, so maybe that'll be a future. It won't be question 3, but that could be a future one. That's a good one. All right, let's move on to plot number 3. In a fantastical realm where kingdoms vie for power and dragons roam the skies, the fate of the realm is determined not only by swords and sorcery, but also by the sport of basketball. The 7 kingdoms are gripped by a civil war, and the only way to establish peace is through a basketball tournament. Enter Jake, a former basketball star turned prisoner, who is offered a chance at freedom if he can convince his estranged son, John, to join the tournament and lead their kingdom to victory. John, however, is torn between his duty to his family and his desire to forge his own path. As he grapples with his decision, John encounters a mysterious figure known only as the Night King, who seeks to claim the crown for himself and plunge the realm into eternal darkness. As the tournament reaches its thrilling and action-packed climax, John and his allies must battle the Night King and his army of the dead to determine the future of the realm. With the fate of the Seven Kingdoms hanging in the balance, they must confront their own demons and summon all their courage and skill to defeat the forces of darkness and restore peace to the land.
We'll check in.
Callyswag District has checked in, so I've got a raging clue. You guys can talk it out.
Yeah, we're good.
Wait, wait, I'm just looking up. Yeah, gotta check the wall, huh? That's what you're telling me. That was a bad Denzel. I was trying to think of Denzel as like, it's like Jon Snow. Yeah, go ahead.
He got Game of Thrones.
All right, and Kelly Swag District, what did you guys have?
Now I'm just imagining Denzel Washington playing Kit Harington in a game of one-on-one, except he's in full like Night's Watch like garb and just cannot move well on the court at all. So Jake Shuttlesworth just absolutely cooks him. We also checked in with he got Game of Thrones.
Both teams are getting their points. The correct answer is, in fact, he got Game of Thrones.
How have we not even brought up the idea of Peter Dinklage on a basketball court as part of the tournament? And Muggsy Bogues shows up to
I drink and I know
God.
things. Well, you don't know how to guard a post up. I know that.
I drink and I get buckets.
He's the Steph Curry of Westeros. What are you talking about?
Oh, of course.
Got the lineage.
All right. So after halftime, same difference in score, but the scores have gone up. I've got a Raging Clues at 250 and Cali Swag Districts at 245. Today's third quarter will be The Missing Link.
The Missing Link. This quarter will consist of 5 questions with theme-linked answers. The teams will attempt to answer the questions and guess the theme. Each question is worth 20 points. If a team checks in first via chat to the host with the correct theme before the 5th question, they will earn 100 points. The other team can still earn 50 points with the correct theme guess. If neither team has checked in with the correct theme before the 5th question, each team can earn 50 points with the correct answer to the theme after the 5th question.
Question 1 in The Missing Link. What shooting guard from Tennessee, who was drafted 11th overall by the Detroit Pistons in 1993, was better known for his time with an Eastern Conference team that he spent the last 9 years of his career with?
We can check in.
Okay, Cali Swag District has checked in, so I've got a Raging Clue. You guys can talk it out.
You saw what I typed, right?
Yeah, I'm trying. He did go to Tennessee. Yeah.
Yeah. Allen Houston, when I think of shooting guards in Tennessee, that's just the first thing that comes up. I didn't know this for sure, but I mean, he was known as a New York Knicks, so that would make sense.
Yeah, I would say because I don't remember him with Detroit at all.
Yeah, me neither. But the time frame seems to fit.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, 93. He was that's his draft year.
I say we go for it.
All right, I trust it.
All right. We'll check in with Allen Houston.
Okay, and Cali Swag District.
Yeah, I knew this one pretty much right away. He was there right at the end of the blue and red jerseys, right before they switched to the awesome sort of, jerseys that I associate with Grant Hill. But yeah, this is definitely Allen Houston.
Both teams are getting points. Correct answer is Allen Houston. Houston's number 20 has been retired by the Volunteers. Moving on to question 2. What member of the 500 Home Run Club shares his name with the player who is 25th in all-time points scored for the NFL?
That's it.
Thank you. I was just trying to do that. Yeah, we were doing the same thing.
All right, we'll check in.
Okay, I've got a Raging Clue is checked in. Cali Swag District, you guys can talk it out.
I don't think there's
I
a
think you got
whole lot to talk out. He's definitely a member of the 500 Home Run Club and shares his name with a kicker from the 80s and 90s who kickers tend to be very high up there on that all-time points scored list. So we are going to check in with Eddie Murray.
Okay, and I've got a Raging Clue. What did you guys have?
Oh, we overthought it. We went with El Del Greco. No, we checked in with Eddie Murray.
Both teams are getting points. Correct answer is Eddie Murray. Murray has the least total home runs for a member of the 500 Home Run Club with 504, which is 28th all time. And the top 42 point scorers in NFL history are kickers, to no surprise. Jerry Rice tops the non-kicker point scored list. The theme-linked answers thus far are Allen Houston and Eddie Murray. Moving on to question 3. What NBA head coach is second to only Phil Jackson in championships won with 9? He also won 7 NBA championships as an executive.
We're going to check in.
Okay, I've got a Raging Clues checked in, so Cali Swag District, you guys can talk it out.
I don't.
So is the question, did Red Auerbach go into the front office?
I think he did. Didn't he become like team
makes
president
sense.
or something when
I believe
Bill
he did,
Russell
yeah.
took over the team as a player coach or whatever?
Yeah, and I think he stayed there for a while, right? Like I think he was still there into the 90s as an executive.
Right. I can't imagine it being anybody else.
I think it has to be because, like, also, right, winning 7 as a championship, you'd have to think that cuts into some of the Russell championships, and then again with like the Bird teams.
Right. Maybe he's still president in the 80s.
I think he was. Yeah. I can't really think of anyone else that those stats would work for.
Yeah. All right.
So I'm going with
We'll check in Red Auerbach.
Hey, and I've got a Raging Clue. What did you guys have?
Yeah, we were just looking at it, and I know that Red Auerbach went into the front office, and it seemed to fit the rest of the clues, so we also checked in with Red Auerbach.
Both teams are getting points. The correct answer is Red Auerbach. Auerbach's 16 NBA championship is the most combined for any player, head coach, and or executive. The theme-linked answers thus far are Allen Houston, Eddie Murray, and Red Auerbach. Moving on to question 4. What 2021 Roberto Clemente Award winner signed a one-day contract on opening day this year to officially retire as a Seattle Mariner, even though he spent twice as many seasons as a member of a rival AL West team?
We can check in.
I've got a Raging Clue is checked in really quickly, to no surprise. So, Cali Swag District, you guys can talk it out.
Okay, what's the Clemente Award? That's just like an off the field thing, or is it an actual?
Yeah, that's the
kind of like their Man of the Year award, right?
For the link. Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. Okay. So this could be a pitcher or a hitter. That's what I was kind of trying to figure out.
Right.
This could be. All right. So who would want to retire as a Mariner this season?
Right.
Mariners legend, clearly. So. And then spent time somewhere else. All right.
So spent time in
probably not Oakland. They don't keep players long enough typically to have someone been there twice as long. So I'm thinking the Angels or the Astros.
Or the Rangers.
Certainly could be Texas. There's a lot of guys that play for, like Adrian Beltre, right? Played for Tech, but he retired a couple years ago. Right. And
what about Nelson Cruz?
Oh, why would he want to? No shade to the Mariners. It's interesting that that's the team he would
where he would want to retire.
I just don't know if he spent so much. I'm just trying to think of guys with. That does make sense though, because
guys with Mariners connections who, spent time in the rest.
And he was active last season, so that would make sense to have a recent retirement. Yeah, I like that.
Okay.
Because it's not Kendall Graveman. I know he's been Mariners and Astros, but he's still active. So
right.
Yeah, I like Nelson Cruz, and he was on the Rangers for a bit.
Right.
So that would be twice as long.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm good with that.
Okay, we'll check in Nelson Cruz.
Okay, and I've got a Raging Clue. What'd you guys have for an answer?
He would want to retire with them because he had some very good years, despite being like 35 plus. He was a multiple-time All-Star, I think, with the Mariners, and he spent a bunch of time other places, more time other places. But got to opening day this year, and they were like, "Hey, Nelson Cruz signed a one-day contract to retire as a Mariner." We were all like, "Oh, all right, sweet." So yes, we've also checked in with Nelson Cruz.
All right, both teams are getting their points. The correct answer is Minnesota Twin legend Nelson Cruz. Cruz is 37th on the all-time home run list with 464, 76 of which he hit as a Minnesota Twin. And yeah, I guess he did hit 163 with Seattle in his 4 years there, and only 157 in his 8 years with Texas. So
yeah, that does make sense when you say that.
yeah, so the theme-linked answers thus far are Allen Houston, Eddie Murray, Red Auerbach, and Nelson Cruz. Okay, moving on to question 5. What point guard out of Providence played his only 20 NBA games as a rookie for the Washington Wizards in 1997-98? He would go on to play professionally for over a decade, mostly overseas.
It has to be.
I can't think of anything else it could be.
And there's that too.
Yeah, that was
Like-
also where I was going. All right,
I think it has to be.
cool. We'll check in.
Okay, Cali Swag District has checked in, so I've got a raging clue. You guys can talk it out.
How's it going? Yeah, I'm not super adept at Providence point guards.
Is that what's that guy? He went to
What's
Providence.
that guy?
It's is it God Sham God? He's a Providence dude.
I mean, yeah, that's a person.
I know he went to Providence. I don't know who he drafted him, but that's around 97.
Okay, go with it.
I don't know what that does for anything else that we're going with, but yeah, we'll check in with God Sham God.
Oh,
Okay, and Cali Swag District, what'd you guys have?
We also checked in with God Sham God.
Both teams will be getting their points. Correct answer is God Sham God. And Sham God is currently a player development coach with the Dallas Mavericks. So
He's
the
responsible
theme,
for Luka. Oh,
so the theme-linked answers are Allen Houston, Eddie Murray, Red Auerbach, Nelson Cruz, and God Sham God. So one team has submitted a correct theme guess. So I've got a raging clue. You guys can talk out what you believe the actual theme is. It is not generic white guys.
oh, that's amazing.
So Eric, once he said God Sham God, it kind of made more sense to me, and maybe you can help me suss out the rest of these. But didn't Morgan Freeman's character in Shawshank was Red, right? Red something.
Yeah, played Nelson
then he
Mandela.
And then he played God in Bruce Almighty, and
Who's
then
Houston?
or Alan.
Oh yeah, Alan.
Alan
get-
something. I think it's Morgan Freeman characters. I can't
That
suss them all
sounds
out, but
no. That's right. That's right. That is
Okay.
right.
we'll check that in.
Okay, and Cali Swag District, what did you guys have?
This was literally just a Hail Mary. Like we did not get to God Sham God because of the theme, because we didn't know if it was right, because I thought you might ask to be more specific. So we were just sitting there like, all right, we'll just throw out a name, and we just threw out Morgan Freeman because I was like, well, he's in the movie Red and he played a character named Red, and that's literally all we had to go off of. So we just threw out Morgan Freeman. But what's cool about this is we could have 6 more missing links of Morgan Freeman movies, and none of them would be repeats.
That is true. So both teams will be getting points for the theme. Cali Swag Districts will be getting 100, and I've got a raging clue will be getting 50, because these are the first names of Morgan Freeman roles. First, we have President Alan Trumbull from the Has Fallen series. We have Eddie Scrap Iron Dupree from $1 Million Baby. We have Ellis Boyd Red Redding from The Shawshank Redemption. As mentioned, Nelson Mandela from Invictus, and God from the Almighty collection. So, good job sussing out the theme, even though it got, you weren't as confident as maybe you could have been, but I think that was the only way I could have God Sham God. And I know he's been an answer before. So yeah, there you go. So after the third quarter, we have the following scores. We have another lead change. I've got a raging clue is 400, and Cali Swag District is up to 445. And that brings us to the fourth quarter.
the fourth quarter, known as Put Your Fours Up. This quarter consists of 4 categorized questions that teams will wager up to 100 points each, not to exceed their current point total.
Okay, so the categories for today are as follows. Question 1, Unforgiven, in reference to the NBA. Question 2, 7, in reference to Major League Baseball. Question 3, Wanted, in reference to the NFL. And question 4, The Dark Knight, in reference to college football. It is now time for the teams to place their wagers.
We'd like to take a minute to invite you to follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at BenchwarmersTP. We also have a Facebook group for fans of the pod called The Bench. Join us there to comment on the latest episodes and share cool sports facts and trivia. If you'd be willing to rate and review us on iTunes or Stitcher, we'd greatly appreciate the support so that other people may find this podcast. Thanks.
Now that the wagers are in, on to the questions. Question 1 in the category of Unforgiven. What NBA player was recently given a lifetime ban for violating league rules by disclosing confidential information to sports bettors and betting on NBA games?
Check in.
I got a raging clue is checked in. Cali Swag District, you guys can talk it out. I'm guessing it probably won't take very long.
Yeah, this is Michael Porter Jr.'s less talented brother.
And
Jonte
now
Porter.
unemployed brother, Jonte Porter.
Yep, we're checked in with that for 100 points.
Okay, and I've got a raging clue. What was your answer and wager?
Yeah, this is maybe the dumbest man in the history of sports, because when you're not very talented and you're barely holding on to a roster spot, I don't know that gambling and getting banned from that sport is the best move. I could also say Seattle high school legend Jonte Porter is what we checked in with for 100 points.
Well, both teams are getting their points. Porter was on a 2-way contract with the Toronto Raptors this season, and as mentioned, he is the younger brother of Michael Porter Jr., who plays for the Denver Nuggets. And I guess he'll be asking his brother for money forever. Just
Ugh, what an idiot.
both teams' scores went up by 100. Let's just move on to question 2 in the category of 7. What Hall of Fame player who was inducted into Cooperstown this century wore the number 7 during each of his 21 seasons in the major leagues, the most by any player in Major League Baseball history? He did wear 2 other numbers during partial season stints with 2 different teams, but the number 7 was already retired for those 2 teams.
We'll check in, Josh.
Okay, Cali Swag District has checked in, so I've got a raging clue. You guys can talk it out.
So, like I said, the people that have played 21 seasons is a very short list.
Yes.
And if you put that with players that wore the number 7, I mean, immediately you think of Mickey Mantle, but I don't think he played 21 seasons. Craig Biggio, I think he's short of 21 too, but I think Pudge hit 21.
I think he hit 21, and I can't remember seeing him in another number. Like all of the
Who else would he
stops that
play
he
for?
had.
The Marlins and
Marlins, Tigers.
Oh, yep, Tigers. He was at the Yankees for a minute.
Well, that was what. So I put that in the chat right before we started talking. Yeah, I was like, did he play for the Yankees? So that would make sense for the number being retired.
Okay. So 2 other teams that with the number 7 retired. So then if he played for, does Detroit have a number 7 retired?
Maybe.
Or the Astros.
Huh?
Or maybe the Astros, when did Biggio retire?
Oh, God.
Because if he retired, they probably retired his number right away.
Yeah, that would make sense. I mean,
So then that would make sense for that second retired number. So I don't know. I don't want to overthink it. I say we go Pudge.
Okay, sounds good.
All right, we're gonna check in with Ivan Rodriguez for 100 points.
Okay, and Kelly Swag District, what did you guys have for an answer and wager?
First thought was Biggio, but the second half of that ruled Biggio out. So we just took a moment to kind of think of other, like, iconic number sevens, and Pudge Rodriguez popped up. And yeah, he spent some time on the Yankees, who retired it for Mantle, and he did spend some time in Houston, who conceivably retired it for Biggio. Maybe it was still kind of an unofficial retirement thing when Pudge was there, but we also checked in with Ivan Rodriguez for 100 points.
Both teams will be getting their points. Correct answer is Ivan Pudge Rodriguez. You do have it exactly right. Rodriguez wore number 12 with the Yankees, and he wore numbers 12 and 77 with the Astros. Craig Biggio wore the number 7 during 19 of his 20 seasons. He wore number 4 during his rookie season and part of his second season. And Mickey Mantle wore the number 7 during each of his 18 seasons, but he also wore number 6 for part of his rookie season. So those are the top 3 longest spanning wearing of number 7. So you guys hit it completely nail on the head. And I do believe the Astros had officially retired Biggio's number a year or two before Pudge joined the team. So there was no doubt that he just wasn't going to get to wear his number. So good job sussing that one out, guys. Once again, scores went up by 100 on each side. Don't need to really recap much. Let's move on to question 3 in the category of wanted. NFL starting quarterbacks rarely become free agents in the prime of their careers, let alone twice. Kirk Cousins has been a wanted free agent quarterback 2 times. Within $10 million, what is Kirk Cousins' career earnings, counting the guaranteed salary owed to him in 2024 per over the cap?
Yeah, I like that. We'll do that. Josh, we're going to check in. I'm not going to tell you, but I'm going to tell you it's an amount that is too much, and you're not going to like the number.
All right. Well, Kelly's Wake District has checked in. So, I've got a raging clue. You guys can talk it out and let me know when you get to your answer and your wager.
All right. How long was he in Washington? He was in Washington for
6 years, I think. 5 or 6.
2012 to 2017. So 5. Okay. So figure average, counting his rookie deal, 10 a year. So 5, so that's 50. So you just leave him at 50 million for his time in Washington. Then he signed with Minnesota. He's been there so there was 18 until this just now. So 23. That's another 5. Yeah. So what was he averaging then? Maybe 30?
It's a lot.
It is. I feel like 30 might be too high then. So I don't know. Say he averages less than that. So I don't know. At the end, it's just going to be guessing.
Well, like I said, I've heard this number on a podcast and I just can't remember. I've heard the number because they're like, hey, by the way, Mr. Officially the greatest bag getter in the history of the NFL.
Over 200?
Oh, yeah.
Because that's what we're creeping up on.
Oh, no, I think it's over 250.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Well, because he signed his initial deal with Minnesota and then he signed another extension.
That's right.
And then he just got his
first one with Minnesota was like 3 years, 80 something. Because my friend's a Vikings fan, and he asked me how I felt about it when it happened. I'm like, I wouldn't like that.
And then they signed him for a big old number.
So and then he had another what he did. He's signed twice with them.
Yes.
Last time was just the 1 year, which was like 30. So if you average, we'll say he's at 180 plus 50 plus another 90. So you said it's north of 250.
Yes, I'm almost positive it's north of 250.
Is it? North of 270?
I don't know.
It doesn't ring a bell.
I wish I could tell you. Like I said, I've heard it before, but
Okay.
I just, it's one of those things I'm just like, ew, gross. And I just let it go, let it go in one ear out the other. I know it's north of 250. I don't know how north of it.
Let's say 275.
Sure.
Nice round odd number. All right.
Okay.
All right. We'll check in with 275 million dollars for 100 points.
Okay, and Cali's Swag District, what'd you guys have for an answer and a wager?
Yeah, similar to Marcus. Like I remember seeing it when he first signed the contract, and also similar to Marcus, it was kind of in one ear and out the other because I immediately dismissed it because I was like, it's ridiculous and it's an amount of money I'll never see, so I'm not gonna remember this. I definitely knew it was north of 200. I couldn't remember anything else of where it was. I wasn't quite sure if it got to 250 or not. I'm worried now that Marcus is so confident that it is. We thought it might be in like the 225 range. So we ended up going with 220 to get us, from 210 to 230. So we checked in with 220 million for 100 points.
Well, unfortunately, both teams are going to be losing 100
Ugh.
points because you guys are underestimating the absolute bags that he does collect. The range that you would have needed to hit was between basically 284 million and 304 million.
Ooh.
The man has made, let me get you the exact number here. It's 293,969,288. The breakdown, give me a second here, is roughly, so with the Commanders, he made $46,469,288. With Minnesota, he made $185 million.
Whoa.
And with the Falcons, he has a $50 million signing bonus. And for this upcoming season, he's going to make only $12.5 million. But that puts him at 293, 969, 288. Way too much money. Oh, let me get to my flavor text because that's even better. Cousins is currently 6th on the career earnings list, behind only Aaron Rodgers, who has 1 Super Bowl win, Matthew Stafford, who has 1 Super Bowl win, Tom Brady, who has 7 Super Bowl wins, Matt Ryan, who has 1 Super Bowl appearance, and Russell Wilson, who has 1 Super Bowl win. Cousins has 1 career playoff victory.
Who was that
Let that
against?
sink in. Huh?
It's worth 293
who was that
million.
against?
Who was
one
that
playoff
against?
win.
That would be your team, the Dallas Cowboys. So
that's right.
I
Yeah.
mean, he I guess that makes it right that he's made almost $300 million because he beat the Cowboys once in a playoff game. I mean, it's a whole different discussion about how much money Dak Prescott has made too, but not this much.
Not
yet.
yet.
Yeah.
Oh wait,
Yeah.
but Cousins isn't done. He's not done making. Oh, so yeah.
Yeah, but he's at least going other places and making that money. Dak Prescott's going to sit right where he's at.
True. Well, if you don't have to go anywhere and keep getting your bag, then
And what does that tell you?
Work smarter, not harder.
that Jerry Jones is an idiot.
Ah, there it is.
All right. Well, once again, both teams went the same direction, down 100. So it is still a 45-point difference game heading into the final question in the category of the Dark Knight. The Black Knights of Army have had 3 players win the Heisman Trophy. Name one of these players.
We'll check in.
Okay, I've got a Raging Clue has checked in. Cali Swag District, you guys can talk it out. Let me know when you've got an answer and your wager.
Okay, the only thing that I've got on this is my own broken brain because I remember looking at this Heisman list in the past and seeing a guy on there named Glenn Davis and like chuckling to myself, imagining Glenn Big Baby Davis winning a Heisman Trophy. That was funny. So the name Glenn Davis is stuck in my head. And I think he went to Army. That's really all I got, though. I'd love to tie it to something more concrete than Glenn Big Baby Davis.
So what you're saying is a future question is name a Heisman Trophy winner that also won SEC Player of the Year while playing for LSU, and the answer would be Glenn
Correct.
Davis.
It would be Glenn Davis. I've already asked a Glenn Davis question on this podcast, so I can't do it, but somebody else can.
I'm good with that. If it sticks out in your mind, then there's a reason for that, I would imagine. So I'm good with it.
Okay. We will check in Glenn Davis for 56 points.
Okay, and I've got a raging clue. What do you guys have for an answer and a wager?
The reason that I just had to do a little mental check in my head, is one of these people, his grandson used to, one of these three people's grandson used to work on my cars. He's a mechanic that my dad met, and he used to work on my old Saturn SL2, my 1994 Saturn. And, he has a bunch of old pictures and some memorabilia at his house that he's shown me. So we also checked in with Glenn Davis for 100 points.
Well, both teams will be getting their points because one of the three is, in fact, Glenn Davis, who won the Heisman Trophy in 1946. The year before, Doc Blanchard won the Heisman Trophy, so 1945.
Yep.
And in 1958, Pete Dawkins won the Heisman Trophy. So Blanchard would go on to become a colonel in the U.S. Air Force. Davis would play 2 seasons in the NFL after his service obligation ended in 1950, winning an NFL championship in 1951. And Dawkins would go on to become a brigadier general in the U.S. Army. All three are members of the College Football Hall of Fame. And with that, the game has come to an end, and here are the final scores. With 600 points, we have I've Got a Raging Clue, and our clipboard captains of the game, who are receiving the coveted Desmond Ritter Award with 601 points, is Cali Swag District. Congratulations, guys.
Morgan Freeman.
Yeah, that's what it was.
So I know that we often, we just throw it over to guests if they have anything they want to say. We have no guests, so if you guys have anything that you guys would like to say before we call a night, please do so.
Shout out to Glenn Big Baby Davis.
Great game, Josh. Great game. Great game.
Yeah.
Whoever's editing this, 1, 2, 3, the Oklahoma City Thunder.
Alexander Gorgiev.
Oh gosh, yeah.
7 goals on 23 shots.
It's not great.
What? All right. End the recording, Josh.
All right. So, on behalf of Ede, Scott, Marcus, Taco, the rest of the Benchwarmers, and myself, we'd like to say thanks for listening to the Benchwarmers Trivia Podcast. And until next time, we'll keep the bench warm.
You know who should be on the bench? Alexander Gorgiev.
That ball hit high and deep. Stretch! Get on back there. They look up. You can put it on the board. Yes!
Into deep left center for Mitchell. And we'll see you tomorrow night.
That great music you're listening to is by Justin Nozick. Thanks to him for producing that music for us. You've been listening to the Benchwarmers Trivia Podcast. Make sure to check us out on all of our social media. We are at Benchwarmers TP.